Okay, cool. Cool. So yeah, once you get started, once you open the spline tool, you first of all there's a default rectangle added by there's a rectangle added by default, so you can just delete it. Except you if you're in a scenario you actually want to make use of it, but we're not going to be using, so you can just click on it and press delete, and that's basically all. So to get started with your own version, your own design, all you just need to do is to go and add a text. So add a text, pick the text tool. It's just like Figma. The text, the toolbar is here, and you can just click T to add a text and start typing. Just type something. For example, let's just type what can we type? Cook. Let's do cook instead of doing the same old thing I had done here already. So let's do cook. Let's do cook. For example, let them cook. So yeah, let's do cook. And so once you've typed the text out, basically it's by default it's small. So let me reset my camera first. So by default it's really small. So you're just going to like scale it up. To scale it up, come to this side of the screen. This part where scale is written. But for anything that's added, it's scale on a scale of 1 by default, so just scale it up to whatever size you're convenient with. So increase the scale of the x to 5, increase the scale of the y to 5, increase the scale of the z to 5, and I think it's starting to look, is it looking better? You know what, let's just move it somewhere here. And next thing I want to do is to change the font from Roboto to Inter. I'm going to change to Inter. To change the font, just come to the side of the screen. There's an option for changing font. So it's Roboto by default. You can change it to Inter. And I also want to make it bold, or black rather. So black. I also want to, what else do I want to do? I also want to yep, okay, I also want to reduce the line height, because sorry, the spacing, the font spacing, because I feel like the spacing for this particular design we're trying to do, I want the spacing between the text to be like really small, so I want to reduce it. By default it's 0, so I'm going to take it to minus 0.1. Okay, 0.1 is too small, so I'm going to do minus 0.05. Sorry, minus rather, minus 0.05. I'm doing okay, cool. So minus 0.05 still looks kind of too small, so I'm going to just still reduce it or increase it a bit more. 0.06, sorry, 0.04 rather, should be going down. Okay, so I think this looks fine. If it doesn't look fine, we're going to like adjust it as we keep going. So let me reset my camera again. So one thing you have to really be conversant with when using Spline is the camera thing. So the camera options here are, these are camera what's it called, options and angles. So you can just click on this thing to move to a preset what's it called, angle, or click on this middle to just centralize it. And you can also change from isometric view to normal to normal view to perspective view. So perspective view, you won't really see the effects now, but if we had started like making stuff, you probably see the effect then. But by default I leave it on orthographic, so I don't really make any changes to the camera, at least not yet. So leave it on orthographic and resets the camera. So this is how the design looks on the default camera. So you can just size things up from this direction, except if you want to be zooming in at any point in time to make changes. But me personally, I like sizing my elements in accordance with the default camera. So this we're going to have to resize this, but for now, once we've reduced the letter spacing, we're going to also turn it into a shape. Do we turn it into a shape now? Yes, let's turn it into a shape now. So there's the option here, convert to shape. So I think once we convert to shape, we can still, okay, let's not do that now. Okay, before we convert to shape, let's first of all add an extrusion to it. So I don't know if you know what an extrusion is, but extrusion is just like you taking the text. For example, if I turn to the side now, you can see that the text there's no 3D aspect. It's just a 2D shape. It only has like a thickness. It doesn't have a thickness. Yeah, I think that's the word. It doesn't have a thickness. So extrusion is just you adding like a thickness to it's like a z thickness. It's a thickness on the z axis. So what I'm going to do now is just click on the text and increase the extrusion here to something like, let's say, so you can see what I mean when I say adding a thickness to it. So it has some thickness or depth to it now. So I'm going to reduce the extrusion to, let's say, something like 5. So I think 5 works for this design. So 5 works, but if you want something longer, that's entirely up to you. You can increase it up to 10 up to 20, up to 120, up to anything really. So it depends on what you're trying to go for. So the more you increase the number, the longer the extrusion is. So let's just do 5 for this, for the sake of this design. Or I think 8 was what I did. No, 5 is fine. 5 is fine. So once you have that done, we're going to convert it to a shape. So to convert it to a shape is just because I want to get rid of all this extra. For some reason I don't really know why Spline does not do inline, like does not do like inline text, that the text box to be properly aligned with the amount of text inside. It just has like this extra space I'm not using, so I'm just going to convert to shape to get rid of that, and also to make it make me to be able to edit the letters individually in case I want to do that. So I'm going to just press convert to shape here, and it's going to get rid of all that extra space. Another thing I'm going to do is that once you convert it to shape, it has like this it has like this it's in this group, it's in this automatic group by default, and I really don't want that because that automatic group still comes with some extra space. This is just the text here, but then you are seeing this extra space around this part, so I really don't want any of that. What I'm going to do is just to ungroup it. Okay, group selection, and like this I have the text as individual elements. I have the text as different individual elements. However, I don't really know why this K is separated. It should be one letter, but for some reason separated, but that's fine. Let's see how let's see how we go. I feel like it's going to be problematic eventually. Let me see. Some letters are just problematic by default. So let me see if I can merge geometries. Okay, I've merged the geometry because it's a different shape, so I've merged it to be one shape. So yeah, I think we'll not have problems now. So just keep taking note that while you're working with letters, with the alphabets in Spline, some of them may like come with specific problems, because like one letter I had issues with when creating an extrusion was P. When I made P, for some reason I kept having some weird results with that P. So even K too, but K is easier because I just converted to just merge geometry and it just became one chip. So that's by the wayside. These are things you figure out while you're working. So let me reset my camera again. Okay, and now what I want to do is to mark all of them, mark all the letters again. First of all, delete the group. There's this default group, so delete it. Mark all the letters again, and then I can group them myself. So you can see that this group now properly sizing the letters that it contains. So this is what we want for our stuff. So like this, we can go ahead and start making some more changes to it. The first thing I want to do is also to change the background color. So let me see this background color, B9 FF29. Okay, let's use that. Okay, B9 FF29, B9 FF29. Wow. Okay, click on the background, select here, and then B9 FF2. Yep. So this is what you want to have this background color for this design. If you want any other background color, that's entirely up to you. Just click here and just mess around with the color slider, and that's basically that. So once we've done that, you want to also go back to editing the letter. So I want to name this group for the sake of ease of navigation. Let me name the group and also the letters out of it. So the letters, they are separated as individual stuff, so you can go inside and start naming them. So let me name the C, name the O, name the K. Okay, name the O, and then the last one, which is the K, name it K. So that's done. And name the group. I'm going to name the group Cook. Good. So once you have that out of the way, want to start adding adding colors and all of that to it. So you see how this one is. It has like this color, this purple color in front of it, and then it has like a hard shadow, like a hard black shadow behind it. So we want to also have that in our design as well. So to do that, let me turn to the side. So to turn to the side, if you're using a trackpad, click on hold alternate option, and then click on your mouse and like pan around. It's going to turn around. But if you're using a the external mouse, just click on your middle mouse button and hold while you're holding command or control, and middle mouse button, click on it and turn around. Just turn your mouse around. It's going to turn around the object. So I'm going to turn around the object to be able to see, or you can just press isometric to go to isometric view. But personally, I like having more control with my own with my own camera angle. So let's just do like this, and we are going to start adding stuff now. So click on the C on the first on the C, and then the first thing I'm going to do is to add a what's it called, by default, there's a material already applied to it. The material is called text material. I think if even on your own it's going to be like that, text material applied. So you're going to select all the objects inside of the group and then change the material. To change the material, that's currently applied to it, you can just go into what's it called, the material section, and you can click on the what's it called, on the material that's applied. And let's first of all we're going to turn off lighting. We don't want any lighting on it. We actually want it to be like plain bland. So turn off lighting, and then for the color, we also want to make the color this purple. Oh boy. Oh, sorry, I have to restart Spline. Just give me 1 second. Oh boy. For some reason, it just keeps closing my work. So just give it 1 moment. It's going to load up. Okay, so let's get this color. First, click on this color. So the color is okay. Let me just copy it and paste. Yeah. I'll say the color code in a moment. So okay. Okay, so click on it, select all the objects inside of it, make sure that all the objects are selected, and then you go into the material section, click on the material that's currently applied, and just change the color. Like I said, turn off lighting, and then change the color code here to this particular color code. I think it's, let me read it out, 855 BFF. Yeah, so that's basically the color code, 855 BFF. So that's the purple we're using. So click on it, and then you have the purple color applied here. So that's step 1 out of the way. The next thing we're going to do now is so the way I did my own is that I actually have 2 versions. So there's the purple one, and then there's the black one, separate layer. So I'm going to create the same thing here as well. So there's the purple one, there's the black one. So click on all of the objects again, duplicate them. To duplicate them, just press Ctrl D. So all the objects are selected. So then you now have C1, C2, what's it called, O1, O2, blah blah blah, and all the rest like that. So let's name them again. We're going to be giving them like individual names. So, or you know what, the first one we're going to do, before we even do that, let's for one of the objects. So basically there are 2 of them now. There are 2 of them like this. So for one of them, what I'm going to do is to remove all the extrusion on it. So I don't want this one to have any extrusion at all, or even I think I can even do without that. I can do without that. Let me see. Front. No, I can't. Okay, I can't. So that's fine. That's fine. So for one of them, I don't want any extrusion on the letters. I just want them to be flat, which is the purple one. So what I'm going to do is just to click on the let's use C1, C2 as the plain one. So we're going to call it what we're going to call it. Well, you know what? Let me see. Let me see if there's an easier way. So back. Nope, there's no easier way. Anyways, so select what's it called, the duplicates, one of the duplicates you've made, and then you're going to, on the extrusion section, on the extrusion option, just reduce it to back to 0. Reduce the other one back to, like, all of them 0 0. I can't do it I can't do it batch for all of them, but what's it called, you can do them one by one. So just remove all the extrusion on them, and on the K as well, remove all the extrusion on it. Oh boy, I think I made a mistake. Oh boy, I don't think I can remove the extrusion for K, because K is already like a, what's it called, K is already a it's a meshed group, so I can't really do anything with that. So you know what, we're just going to remove K and just use Q instead. Or yeah, we're going to use Q instead. Or PMB Q. Let me see what other letters I can replace it with, if I can quickly do that, because K is like a problematic letter to work with. I can't seem to remove all the what's it called, extrusion I've added already. But you know what, let's just delete it and do Q instead. Let's do Q instead, unfortunately. So one of them has to go, so let's just do Q. Or cool, yeah, cool should work. Cool should work. Yeah, cool should work. So we're just going to like add a new letter. However, it will be starting from scratch, but it's not going to be like that hard since we've already gone far already. So let's just quickly start from scratch and write them again. Press T to add a letter, so to add the text to COOL. Okay, that's done. You're going to quickly reduce the spacing from to minus 0.04. Okay, so you have that. Change the font to enter. Yep. And the weight to black. Yep. So that's the first step of it, and then you're going to convert to add extrusion. So extrusion is the whole making it thicker. So add an extrusion of 5, and then you're going to what's it called? You're going to convert text to shape. It's either here or there's the option here at the bottom. So just convert to shape, and then once you've done that, on group again. So on group selection, once you've on group selection, delete the group layer. There's a group layer that's created. So you can now select all the text together. Reset camera. Select all the text together, and then group it as one text, as one option, and then name the group name it cool. Then name the letters individually. So I'm going to name the letters individually now. So C, name it C. O L. Yep. So now I'm going to scale up the entire thing, but I'm just going to scale everything to 5. So I'm going to reset my camera again and see how it looks on default view. So default view, you see it looks small. 5 still looks small. So I'm going to increase to 10. Let's see 10. 10. I think 10 still looks small. Let's just go a big number, 20. Yeah, 20 should be fine. So I want it to be really big in comparison to the camera, to the camera view. So I'm going to leave it at 20. So once that is done, I'm going to just select all the objects inside. By clicking enter on the group, it's going to select all the objects inside, and then I can just apply that material. Take note that I've created the material already. So I'm going to select this button, press button here. It's going to bring up the material, material panel, and I can select the material I had before. So you can see I didn't have to go and start doing all the color thing again, because I've already created a material style, just like Figma, Figma styles. That's basically how it works here. So I'm going to just duplicate them again, duplicate all these options. So go outside of material view. I'm going to deselect select all these options again. Control D to duplicate, and then maybe should I move it away? Let me move it away so you can see what I'm doing. So let me just turn around. So what I'm going to do now is to remove all the extrusion from all these objects. So the extrusion, I'm going to turn it to 0. So this one should be flat. This particular one should be flat, and then this other one, I'm going to call this one C flat in the layers panel, just so that I can keep track of what I'm changing. So O flat and whatnot. O flat, O flat, O flat as well, and then L flat as well. So yep, that's done. I'm going to select all the flat letters, and then I'm going to move them. Or you know what? Before I move them, let me let me move the bold ones instead. So select the bold ones, that have extrusion, and I'm going to change the material on them. So to change the material on them, I'm going to first of all unlink the current material that they're currently using, the material that's applied to this one. So I want to remove it. So just remove it, and then you can start editing this one independently to make changes. So what I'm going to do first is to click on the color, and I'm going to use color, and I'm going to make the color black. Yep. So I'm going to make the color black. So once that is done, this is like the shadow. So if you notice this one, it has like a shadow. So this is the shadow part. The black one is the shadow part. Then the other one is the one that's supposed to be at the front. So that's what I'm going to do. That's why I'm having these two versions. So I'm going to make this one a layer as well. The extruded one. So let me call this one. I'm going to make it a material rather. So to make the material, just click on the materials. Button. The icon beside the material text. Click on it, and then press plus. And then I'm going to name material shadow. Let me just name it shadow. Okay. Yep. So that's done. And for the shadow, since I have shadow selected, I'm going to now first of all reset camera, have it as isometric so I can see, have a bird's eye view of it, and then move it to the back. So move to the back, and then I'm going to try to very carefully align align both the edges together. Is this thing bent a little? It looks like it's bent. All flat. It's bent, rotated a bit. perfectly rotated. Okay, so I'm going to try to carefully, okay, just use this button, carefully align. Wow, this stuff, they look, or you know what, let me group all the bold versions and then group the flat versions separately. However, I'm still going to have to merge them later, but no, let's not group them. So rotation is 0. Why do you look rotated? Why? 0. So I'm just trying to reset all their, what's it called, all the values, all the x and y values. Okay, so now that is done, so I'm going to move the flat ones to be perfectly in line with the other versions. So I'm going to like just try to span around the camera properly and then fine tune it and place it directly in front of it. Okay, it's not perfectly aligned, so I'm going to move the camera around until it's perfectly aligned. I think why it's not aligned because it's a bit rotated. Oh boy. Okay, let's not waste too much time. So yeah, it's not perfectly aligned because for some reason the text are like rotated. They're slightly rotated. Let me see if I can fix it. Okay, see flats. So okay. Yep. So that's done. It's done now. See flat. So I'm just, like I said, just try to align as best as you can. It doesn't even have to be perfect. As best as you can, just try to make things align, match up. So put this one in front, this text in front of the other one, and that's basically what you need to do. So the last thing is to also duplicate these flat versions of it. These flat versions, duplicate it, and then this one you're going to move, like you're going to turn the camera around, and then move it to the back. So the back also has like a version that's there. So move to the back. Although you're not really going to see anything, because if your option here is not turned on, that okay, the back of the object should show, it may not show. So you can just come here and press the option, this button that says back, visibility, sides, back. So make back visible, so that way you can see the back of the text. And just try to also move your camera around and then align it with the back of the text. It's not perfectly aligned because for some reason we made a mistake when it starts. Back of the text. So yes, that's done. So you can you can, once you turn around, you can see that this thing has like the front that's this color, the middle that's black, and then the back that's also that's purple color as well. So like this now, what's remaining is just for you to group similar elements together. So you have the C front, the C flat front, the C flat back. Let's call it C flat back, C flat front. Any name you want to call it, totally fine, as long as you can, you can identify the object. So C flat back, C flat front. Okay, this is front. Okay, back here. So I'm just going to group all of them together. The C middle, like the C let's call it C middle. The C middle is the shadow part, and then the C front. Let's just arrange the layers properly so we can have a proper idea. So front, middle, and back. So yeah, that's it. So group this and call this one C, and then group the O. I'm not going to be naming all the others again because it's I know I can identify all of them here on my layers panel. So just name it to an O, image O, then the same thing for the other O as well, G, image O, and then the L. So take note, inside of all these groups I have three layers. Of C. I have the one that's in the front, I have the one that's in the middle, which is dark brown, and then I have the one that's at the back, which is the other one that has the same color. So I'm going to just naming them. So that's why how I have each letters created already. So once that is done, let me reset my camera again. So taking note of resetting camera. So reset my camera. I also want to still ungroup the layer because for some reason like it's having a boundary that's more than the items that lie inside. So I'm going to ungroup it, delete it, and then select all the objects again. Select all the objects again, and then group them. So this one has a boundary that's actually in line with the objects inside of it. So that's basically going to reset your camera, move the object, press to move the object, just come to position, change it here to 0, 0, change the X position to 0, Y position to 0, the Z position to 0 as well. It will be in the middle of the your frame. So that's all. This is done. We can actually go ahead to start animating all the text. So click on it. You can click on it to view, and then turn around and see, okay, shows from the front, shows from the back. So that's done, and that's cool. So we can now go inside and start animating text. So go to the C first, the C version first. What you want to do is to make it turn around. I want it to rotate. I want it to turn around on the X, to rotate on the X axis, turn around like this, and show the other side. So that's what I want to do. So I can just go click on the object, the C group. That's the C group, and then press what's it called, states. So to add states, if you're familiar with prototyping on XD, like I said, there's a default state and there's a default state. So create a new state for it, and then in this state you're going to turn the rotation, rotate the X axis by 360. So you can either scrub left and right or come here and type whatever you want to. Let's do 90 so you can see the change. So if I do 90, you can see that the C rotates 90 degree. It's on its side set. It's on the side, but that's actually not what I want. I want it to rotate 360. So if I do 360, you're not going to really see anything, but because it's actually like a full rotation. So let's do 360. 360 doesn't really do anything because, like I said, it rotated like full rotation and you don't really see it. But if I were to show you in the prototype view, you would see it. So now I've added like a, so now in the new state I've added like a 360 rotation. So if I go to the base state, you're going to see that in this rotation site it's 0. Then in the new state it's 360. So that's the what's it called, the first thing you want to do for this. And then if you play, you won't really see any change. It won't really do anything because you've now added like a transition, an event to it. So to add an event, just come to this event section and click on events, and then the event I want to add to it is a start event. There are other options here, but you can explore them in your spare time. So I'm just going to use one that's there by default, which is start, and then I'm going to add a transition, actions, add and press transition. Transition is the action you want to add, and then you want to make sure that the transition is set from base state to new state, which is called state. I can also rename it and call it, maybe let's call it rotated state. Rotated state. Okay, cool. So make sure it's moving from the first state, which is base state, to the new state you've created. So that's what you want to do first. And you also want to check the number, check, okay, the time is 1. So let's just see what's happened. So you can see once I play it, it rotates 360 degrees. However, the thing I want to do, I actually want it to keep rotating, I don't want it to stop rotating. So I actually want it to keep rotating, because by default we just made it, what we did was we just set it to rotate once, and that's the end. We didn't like set any replay and any loop animation or functionality to it. So what we're going to do is to add a loop, and we're going to set it to infinite. So on the loop section at the bottom, just go there, move down, you're going to see infinite, click on it, and it's going to loop infinitely. So yeah, so it just keeps rolling, like it just keeps rolling. Once it stops, it starts again, stops and starts again. So that's the loop we've currently added to the letter C. However, I also want to still do a couple of things. I don't think I want to do anything to this particular letter again. So that's basically that for that one. So let's move to the next one, which is the O. Okay, this O, and we're going to add a new state, call it rotated state, and then add an event. So leave this part and just come to transition, click on transition to add a transition to it, and then select from base state to rotated state. You can also do from current, but that one's really tricky to mess around with, so that's, I don't really go there. So once that is done, okay, you also want to make sure that the timing and everything is the same as the other one. The only difference here is that we want to make this one a bit more we don't want them to start at the same time. Okay, I've not changed this one. So on this L, okay, on this O, in the X, in the rotation, I want to change the rotation in this rotated state to 360, just like I did for the C as well. So yeah, like this, it should work. So you can see that both of them start rotating at the same time. However, the O rotates only once and then it stops. So I want to add like a loop animation, sorry. So just come here, click on it, and then select loop, set it to infinite. So like this, it just loops infinitely. However, the problem I'm having here, the problem with this animation now, is that I don't want them to start at the same time. I want this one to go first, and then I want this one to go next. So it's like should be like a chain of events. So to make that chain of events, all you need to do is to add a delay to this particular, also any of them. So whichever one you want to start first, you leave that one, and then you add a delay to the other one you want to start after the first one. So you want to add a delay to this particular one. To add a delay, just there's this option here called delay. So what you just press, come here and press. I'm going to like add a delay of 0.5. So 0.5 delay. I've added a delay of 0.5 just to make sure that this one starts like immediately after this one. Not immediately, but like a little bit, 0.5 seconds after this first one. So let's press play. So you're going to see like, okay, this one always goes first, and then this one goes next. So that's what's it called, step one of getting the whole animation thing right. However, if I really want to go inside and actually add the kind of animation, like, because mine actually bounces, like it has like this bounce animation attached, what's it called, applied to it. So to add a bounce animation, before we even go too far, so we can nip it in the bud. So before we go too far, so click on C to change the animation type. So click on the animation here, the events here, and then click on transition. So by default we've added ease out was added already. So we're going to go inside and change it from ease out to something else. So click on the ease out, and then you're going to like a contextual menu there. So select the ease out, the drop down, the ease out drop down. Then you're going to see like options: linear, ease, easing, blah blah blah. So whichever one you're okay with, try all of them. You can try all of them and see which one you like, which animation type you like. But for me, I'm going to go for spring, because spring is the one I want to use for this one. So go for spring. So let's see spring and see how different it is from this one. This O has ease out applied to it. So let's see how different it is for both of them. So you can see spring like has this like springy animation. However, it's too fast. So I'm going to like make a couple of changes to it. So to make changes, just click on it again, select the spring. So the thing about spring is that you can't edit all this option. You can't edit the timing here. You have to edit the spring itself, the mass, stiffness, and blah blah blah. So go to the mass section and select 10. Let's add the mass of 10 and the stiffness of 80. So let's just increase the mass. Let's not talk about anything else. And also change the loop here to infinite. Yeah, I think that's all. So we tap out the mass and also change the loop to infinite, so you can continue. So it's a bit softer now, but then there's this like it dangles, like after I finish it dangles, and that's too much. That's not really what I want for it to do at all. However, why it's so we want to make a couple of changes more. Let me just go back and check the changes, the animation type I added to mine, so I don't waste too much time. So transition, spring, okay, 800. Nope, that's not the one. So 4, 40, 22. Okay. So mass is 4, stiffness 40, damping 20, velocity 2. Okay. Let's just go 4, 40, 22. Yep. So click on the C. So you're going to apply the same thing for all of them. So you don't need to just cram from one, and then 4, 40, 20, then velocity 2. So the mass is 4, stiffness is 40, damping is 20, then velocity is 2. And that's the only other thing I have to do. Just turn on the turn on the loop to infinite, and that's all. So yeah, so you can see how it actually plays. So it rotates. The rotation type is different from this one that rotates just in a ease out fashion. So I'm going to apply the same parameters to this O as well, and just apply the same thing across board. So go to the O. Take note that in the O we added a slight delay before it starts. So we're going to change the ease out to spring. Change to spring, and then 4, 40, 20, and then velocity, which is 2. So the delay, I'm going to add a delay of 0.5. So it starts 0.5 seconds later than this one starts, and it just keeps up like that. So yep, that's done. Loop, set the loop to infinite. So it loops an infinite number of times. Okay, that's done. However, I think we might need to change the the delay. So the delay is too much. I want it to actually delay less than it currently does. Okay, transition 1 to 2. So I'm going to change the delay to 0.1, 0.1, so which is 0.10, 0.10, 0.10. So that's how it's going to keep going. However, you may actually want to make a couple of changes, tweaks to it, but let's not dwell on that too much now. So once that is done, one thing I can now start doing, just to avoid the whole having to go back, check the animation, and then go and implement the same thing. I can just copy the animation type and make the change, copy paste into that one. So I can go here, click on this O, and then copy this event. So click on the event, like right click on the event, and then you see copy. So copy it, and then click on this new one, which does not have any animation, which is this O, which does not have any animation applied to it here. And then create a state for it. Create a state. In this new state, I want the rotation to be, the X rotation to be 360. So yeah, that's done. And then I'm going to create an event for it, and then press right click on this new event, on this event that's added, and then press paste. So I'm going to paste that event I copied from this O. It's going to be at the bottom. So I cannot delete, for some reason I can't paste without having something there already. So I have to delete this old one. The old one is always the first one. The original is always the first one. So you can just delete it, and then click on this one, and then go inside and make changes. The only change you want to make in this new one is just to change the the delay. So the delay here, we're going to add an extra delay of 0.1. So 0.1. So you can just press plus. Allows for calculation. So 0.1 here. So it's going to be 0.2, 0.20. That's 0.20. Okay, 0.20. So it's going to start like a chain of. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, yeah. The only challenge is that once you paste it, you have to also connect the new state. So by default, it has the base state as state 1, as transition 1, and then transition 2. There's nothing selected, so you can click here and select state, which is this rotated state. You can call it rotated. Okay. So once that is done, it should work now. So it starts like this, like this, like this, like this. However, this one might need to be delayed a little because it seems to start almost at the same time as the other one. So let's just delay it a little, even a little more. Click on it, 0.3, I guess. This is 0.3. Okay. Yep. So yeah, you can see that this one starts later than this other one now. So this one goes first and this one goes next. So let's just leave it like that. And then the last one is the L. So the L, you want to create a new state for it as well. And in this new state, the rotation, the x-axis rotation is 360. So you're going to name the state to rotated, so we can know that okay, this is rotated state. However, if you're working alone, you don't really need to dwell too much on the names. So once that is done, you can now click on this O and copy the event. Copy event. Click on the event here, press copy, and then come to the L, and then add a new event first. Or let me see if I can click. There's no way I can paste it without creating one first. So I have to create an event first, and then click on the event. Right click on the event, and then press paste. If I can paste that my new event, so I cannot delete this. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to ask, like, what's the difference between the transition and animation when you click the event?
Sorry.
What's the difference between transition and animation when you click the event?
I have not explored that option here, but just you can explore it
Okay,
in
okay.
later. So transition is that is. So that's basically that. So once you've placed this in one, what you want to do now is to first of all select the final, which is the transition 2. So like I said, if you place an event, it doesn't have like a second state transition, a second state applied to it. So you have to first select the state as rotated. So once you've done that, you go inside here and then add to the delay. So let's do 0.50 just for extra measure. So every other thing is set. So by default, it should work now. So you can see this one goes first, this one goes first, this one goes first, this one goes first. So that's basically how you create this particular animation for this letter. So the last thing we need to do is to like add a bouncing. So you can see that it doesn't just rotate. It also like goes bubbles. Sorry, not bubbles. It also bobs up and down. So that bobbing up and down is something we want to also implement on ours as well. So to do that, that's also very fairly easy, just tedious work, that's all. But yeah, so to do that, what you need to do is select all the groups, select all the, so this C group now, you're going to group it again, select the C group and then group it again and call this one, let's say, what do you call it, up and down. Let me just call it up and down. Vertical. Okay, let me call vertical so it doesn't, sorry, so vertical. I'm going to, so this vertical group has the C group inside of it, the C group that contains all the, oh shit, oh boy, okay, there was a mistake. So I'm going to, before I group it, I'm going to first of all change it to base state, because if I don't change the base state and I group it, you saw that thing that happened just now. If I group it like this, it's going to just mess up the location, the position. So I don't want that. So you have to make sure that you set. If it happens, if you get that mistake, just change to base state and then group the base state. It's going to, it's not going to have that wonky effect. So vertical. So I can now call this group vertical. And the vertical contains the C group that's going, turning round and round. So in this vertical group, I'm going to apply the up and down effect to it. So okay, let me just do it first. So in this vertical group, I'm going to like add, vertical doesn't have any states or events applied to it. So I'm going to create a state and events for it now. So in the vertical group that contains the C, that contains the alphabet, I'm going to press states, add a new state, call this one down. So let me call this new state down. So I'm calling it down, and then I can now start adding an event to it. So in this down state, I've not really made any change. So in this down state, I'm going to just move it down by, let's move the down y down to let's just add 16. I don't know what the current position is, something, so I'm just going to add 16 to the current position. So you can press plus 16. Oh, it's not plus 16 because plus supposed to make it, I thought it was supposed to make it go down, but basically you're going to minus 16. So minus 16 from it, it's going to come down or up, whichever direction you want to go. Just add or minus that amount of what's it called, value, and it's going to make it so minus 16. So minus 16 is going to move it down a bit, but I think minus 16 is it's kind of too small, so I'm going to do minus 24 instead. Okay, minus 24 looks like a good distance. So you can see in the base state it's up here, in the down state it's down, what's it called, down here, and I'm applying these new states to the vertical group that's containing the C that rotates. So that's one thing you just have to like understand first. So once that is done, I can now go to event and now add an event. So add a transition to it, and then transition is the one I always end up using. I don't really tinker with the other ones, but you can try them out in your spare time. So in this one, I'm going to like change it to, as usual, spring, because spring just has that particular bobbing, cartoony bobbing animation that we want to add. So change to spring, and then we can customize it. So I'm just going to copy the values from my old one and use here as well. So let me check. Okay, spring 8, the mass is 8, the stiffness is 100, and then the velocity is 5. Okay, cool. So mass 8. Am I making a mistake? Okay, mass 8. Okay, so select the vertical group that's containing the alphabet, click on the event, and then click on the spring, and then change the mass to, I think, 4. Stiffness was 100, damping, there was just damping, and then velocity was 5. Okay, let's see how it plays now. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, let's see which test it. Oh, okay, I see. So what we're just going to do is just make sure that the base state has the same position as what's it called, as the what's it called, rotated state. So the issue is coming from the rotated states group. So I changed to base state and then it's correct, and then rotated state is somewhere in the middle. So I'm going to just copy the values of the position here. So the position values here are 0, x 0, y 0, z 0. So just paste it, make the same thing for the rotated state, 0 0. That's in the position option, 0 0 0. So it can come to the same place. So once that is done, I can now play and it should work fine. So you can see it's bobbing. This C is bobbing up and down compared to the other ones. So that's what we're going to just do now. We're going to like create groups for the what's it called, for these other letters, individual letters, and then apply the up and down motion to all the letters as we did for the C, and also apply delays as well, because we want them to like actually like bob, what's it called, have different keyframes to them. Let me use the word keyframes. So that's the same thing. So just click on the O, group it, and then this thing is going to like move a little, but don't worry, you can correct it. So group it, and then call it what's it called, vertical. You can call it anything, but I'm just calling it vertical so we are all on track. So I'm going to select the O and then go inside and just change the values to 0 because I want it to be in the middle. Yep. So make sure root test, yeah, so root test is correct, everything is correct. Okay, so once that is done, in the vertical state, I'm going to go back to the vertical state and start applying a state. So apply a state to it, apply a state. So in this new state, which I'm going to call down, I'm going to minus what's it called, minus 24 from the y axis in the position option. So from the y axis in the position option, I'm going to minus 24. So minus 24 to just come down a bit. So I can also change this vertical on this one to down. So you can see that okay, it's on the same line. So if this C were in its down state, it will have the same axis as this, share the same axis as this O. So once that is done, I can copy the event here that's on this C, and then paste it on the vertical group that's containing the O. So I'm just going to press events, and then I'm going to not add a transition. I'm just going to paste this new event, and then delete this old one. So just to delete it, there's this option, just move to the right hand side, there's this X, just click on it to remove it. So this new event now, it already carries all the parameters. So what we're just going to do is just to add a add a delay of 0.05. Yep, I think that's it. So loop, okay, I think we didn't turn on loop for the other one, so we're going to turn on loop to infinite, and also turn on loop on this first one as well to infinite. So turn on the loop here to loop to infinite. So it goes up and down like forever. So this doesn't go down as I want it to go down. Okay, the only other change is that we've not changed the state 2. So change state 2 to be down, and it's going to work now. It should work now. So you can see that C and O are both bobbing up and down at different times. So I think one other thing I still want to do is to increase do I want to increase time? I think I want to increase time. So instead of 0.5, I'm going to make it 0.1. Yeah, 0.05. So there's much more space in between when this one goes up and when this one comes down. So that's basically that. So what I'm going to do now is just to copy copy the event here, copy the event, and then go to the next O, group it, and do the same thing. So it's a repetitive process, but then it has to be done. So name it vertical. So I'm just going to say it again, just so that you can get used to the whole thing. So name the group vertical that's continuing you, the second O vertical. Change the O, the position values to 0, 0, 0. Okay, it's going to be in the middle. And what else? For the vertical now, we can now apply a state. So apply a state, call this one down, and then press events and paste this new event, the event that you copied from the other one. So paste it and then delete the old one, and then you can click on it and go inside and start making changes. So change the first of all, change the from current to select a state, which is down state, and then click on the spring, and then you can increase the delay. So just increase the delay just so they can have different times. So I'm not going to add points. I'm just going to add points 0.1. I'm going to add an extra value of delay of 0.1. So this one is going to be 0.20. This one is 0.1. This one is 0. There's no delay on this first one. There's a 0.1 delay on this one. Then there's a 0.2 delay on this one, like that. It just cascades downwards, so they can have like this flowing motion. That's why we're doing the whole thing. So once that is done, I can now play to ensure it works. Yeah, it works. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So I think the change I've not made is that in this new vertical state, I've not changed the position parameters on the state 2 of it. So I'm just going to go to the Y section and then minus 24. So now there's a change in value. So you can see base state, down state, base state, down state. So it's just going to do like that in implementation as well. So that's basically how it's supposed to work. So you can see that there's this bobbing motion. They have different keyframes. So one is up, one is down, one is even more down, and just goes on like that, like that, like that. There's this ripple. Yeah, let me call it a ripple motion. So the last thing that's remaining is the L. Let's quickly do that before our time elapses. So the L one, group it, call the group vertical, and then add a state. Call this state down, and then in this new state you're going to minus okay, before we minus one, let's fix the error first. This what's it called, broke. So click on the L group itself, and then reset the values to 0, the position values to 0, 0, 0. Okay, then go back to the vertical group, and then in the vertical group you're going to minus, in the new state you're going to minus 24, or any number you want to minus. The more you minus, the farther the what's it called, the letter travels when it needs to go down. So that's basically why I'm doing minus 24. So once that is done, I'm going to add an event. So to I'll add an event, and then I'm going to copy add an event. Then I'm going to copy this one, the event from this O vertical group. Copy this event here, copy, and then I'm going to click on the vertical group for the L, and then I'm going to press paste. Right click and then press paste, and then I can delete the old one. And then I want to click on it, go inside and change a couple of things. So the first thing I want to change is the 2. There's nothing selected, so I'm going to select the new state, which is supposed to be called down, but that's fine. So click on the spring, and then go to the delay section and add a point 0.1 to the delay. So this is this is delayed 0.30, this is delayed 0.20, 0.10, and then this is not delayed at all. So that's how the thing goes. Then you can press play, and then you can see that it has like this bobbing motion. So that's basically the last thing you want to just do, just to make it look good. And this one is like a cosmetic change, just to frame it. So click on the background, and then you press response to change it from responsive to full HD, and then you're going to have your design properly framed, and then you can centralize it. And also you can now duplicate this entire group. Click on the group, press duplicate, move this one down a bit, and then select both of them, and then move them to like be somewhere in the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's just like look okay. So I'm going to separate the groups and make this one move down a bit. Okay, select this one, select both groups, move them to the middle, and it's just going to have the same animation applied to both of them. So you can see that that's how it's supposed to work. So last thing I just did is just to turn the camera around a bit, and gives like some angle. Turn the camera around a bit and give some angle, and that's basically all. So that's really that. That's really that. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask now. If not, we're totally done with today's design session. So you can go ahead and implement this thing. And if you have any challenges, feel free to reach out to me, and I will be sure to help out as best as I can. So yeah, I'm going to share this file as well in case you need access to it. I'm going to share it on the on my Twitter. So yeah, that's all. If you have any questions, ask. If not, thank you all for coming, and I will see you guys next week. Have a lovely weekend. Bye.